Cyberpunk 2077 will be released soon, probably in 2 years. Some would say next year because there's a rumor flying around right now that it's gonna be 2019, but if it is 2019, that won't really fit because there's a bit of a... there's a web, there's a vision, there's a grand plan. For you see, Cyberpunk 2077 was revealed to the world in that iconic trailer in the year 2013, which is by coincidence the very name of the first book of the Cyberpunk series, the tabletop RPG. It was Cyberpunk 2013, and the game was revealed in 2013. And the second book, it is called 2020. So it makes sense they will release it in 2019 to mess with us. It's like what Age of Decadence did. They always said that the release would be Thursday before the apocalypse, and they released it on a Wednesday. Now this intro has already been a bit too long, so this is the top 7 what Cyberpunk 2077 needs to be great. Though truthfully it's a CD Projekt Red game. It will be great by default. Even their worst game, The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, there I said it, was still amazing. In spite of its flaws, its many flaws. And they did put a lot of work into the game trying to fix those flaws eventually, after I had already finished it twice to make a review about it. So the game's gonna be amazing regardless of if they do these things or not. But if they did, that'd just be that tiny, itsy bitsy bit better. Also, I was running out of ideas that I could get done in a reasonable amount of time for this week. And this is me phoning it in. You may have noticed I've been doing that a bit too often. It's okay. Things happen like this sometimes. That being said, let's get started with number 7. Ray tracing at some point. Now, I know that they have said that Cyberpunk will not feature ray tracing when it is released, but they have not specifically said that it is ruled out completely that at some point they will add ray tracing, much as they have said that The Witcher 3 will not get DirectX 12 or Vulkan support, which it kind of should. I mean, DirectX 12 or... no, Vulkan. Vulkan in The Witcher 3, imagine what wonders it could do for it running better on Linux through the emulation software type things. But why do I want ray tracing on Cyberpunk? Well, it's not because I want to sell NVIDIA hardware, I don't work for NVIDIA, but I kind of wish it had ray tracing because, well, the game looks beautiful already, but with ray tracing it would look, honestly, in a way that it'll make your face fall off. Because that's the level of detail that they've put in making that world. That deserves to be better shown to us, better rendered, better lit, better shadowed with ray tracing, so that every nook and cranny can look as realistic, as authentic, as beautiful as it can be without the limitations of simple tricks of the light. Now, if they do this, I hope it's going to be one of those more general approaches, not hairworks. You know, there's a DirectX thing with ray tracing right now, so they can do that. Maybe Vulkan will get ray tracing support. I'm not sure if it has it already or if it's being planned, but at some point it may receive support for ray tracing. So when that happens, I want to see Cyberpunk have it. I want to see that Night City with all the neon chrome illuminated by actual neon reflecting off chrome. It'll be amazing. Number 6. More destructible walls. In the demonstration that I showed a couple of weeks ago, they have vindicated that there are destructible walls in the game, and some weapons can absolutely shoot through even non-destructible walls because they have superpowers. But why not have more walls that can be torn apart and riddled with holes and punched through? I want to be able to play as a character that uses a katana, which is a weapon that you can have in the game, and I want that character to be able to cut a hole in the wall and walk through it, or punch through the wall, Adam Jensen style, but instead of like Adam Jensen code at a predefined place where usually a guard conspicuously walks by, just lingering long enough for you to reach to the wall and grab them by the neck. I want those walls to be a bit more common, so that when I do something like that, it is because I did it, not because the game initiated a quick-time event sequence that allowed me to do it. It's more about the freedom you have at approaching a combat situation tactically as opposed to the spectacle of things breaking. I want more Rainbow Six Siege than I do. I think Gears of War had some destructibility in its terrain at some point in its cover system. I want more Rainbow Six Siege style of approach, because in Rainbow Six Siege, when you approach a map, there's a lot of ways you can approach it. There are numerous tactics you can employ, such as making a hole in that office in that embassy map so that you can shoot everybody coming through the front door without them seeing you, which is a thing I learned after I got shot from there once. Number 5. A cool in-game radio. I've already heard that there's some music on the car radio when you're driving through it, but it has to be cool music. Not just the, synth, 80s, sci-fi-ish, the thing you associate with Cyberpunk, 80s synth. Not just that. I want there to be actual music there, like music with lyrics. The music they had in the first trailer. I want things like that. I want things that would set the mood. I want a soundtrack, in-world soundtrack, that is as good at setting the mood, the tone, as Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was. Or at the very least, like GTA Vice Cities was. Something that really fits, and very important, I want talk radio. Again, just like GTA, and most importantly, like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. After all, we're kind of going in the same directions. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was Deus Ex with vampires. This is Deus Ex with Polish people in it, or made by Polish people. It's kind of the same thing. So having an equivalent for Dead of Night, or for, well, I wouldn't say necessarily the most of the GTA ones, because the GTA ones veer a bit too much towards comedy, especially in the later years. They sort of went off the rails and they weren't as good as in the old days. But something that will fit the world, something that will resonate. Hey, even Deus Ex Human Revolution had one that I can vaguely remember, and it sort of fit. So yeah, do that. Number 4, car customization. That car looks incredibly sweet. It is just, my god, I want that car in real life. But I also want to dick around with it a bit and add stuff to it. I know it's not your car, it's your partner's car. But let's say he dies at one point through the story, like maybe 2 missions out of the tutorial, to give you an impetus to do something, to get off your ass and achieve some greater thingamabob, and you get stuck with the car. It would be kind of nice to be able to modify it, maybe add some rockets to it, either to shoot at people or to propel you even faster down the highways into things. Maybe actually you do have that spider drone, but you can also maybe add a drone that actually flies. I think Yoshi already has that by default. But anyway, customize it to add, maybe some paint jobs, some custom ones, maybe write samurai on it. So why wouldn't you? It's that kind of game. Maybe add some flames, cyber flames, maybe deck it out with a deck, like a hacking deck in it, that you can use it to remotely hack things around you, hack the cars around you. You could basically have Watch Dogs in the car, like the functionality of the entire... The only reason the game Watch Dogs exists, I have the functionality in the car or something. It would be something fun, something nice. Just make the car customizable. Number 3, the ability to wear sunglasses indoors. Now, I know that this is a first-person game. You will mostly never see your character, but you couldn't do that you could in cutscenes in Deus Ex, and in Deus Ex you would be constantly wearing sunglasses at night indoors even. Why? Because you were JC Dent and your vision was augmented. You didn't really need sunglasses, but you had a built-in flashlight in your skull because you couldn't see in the dark. You could have maybe seen better if you took off your goddamn sunglasses in those vents. But still, you look cool. And this is a game about looking cool, about having street cred. And what gives you more street cred than wearing sunglasses at night and indoors? When you do that, you know you're cool. Like, only cool people can get away with it. JC Denton can, Morpheus can, pretty much nobody else can. You need to be really cool to pull it off properly. Maybe make it as an unlockable bonus to like a really cool suit that lets you wear shades indoors and at night. Number 2, hardcore parkour. Now I know that the car is a big part of the game. I mean, you do have roads, there's a lot of cars around there, but the city is big and beautiful, and you do sort of have the ability to attach things to your body like claws that'll let you scale up things. So why not, maybe add some spiky roller skating style feet, or at least shoes that'll let you go all parkour all over the place. I mean, walk on walls and up the side of buildings, or at least walk across walls, wall running if you will, though that would be wall rolling, but a system that lets you maneuver fluidly through the environment at large, not just the interiors but through the world at large, just jumping over roofs and doing all sorts of crazy stylish things like flipping for no reason and doing insane jumps and going from one roof to another because you can. Sort of like Mirror's Edge, but with a point, that of being cool while doing it and wearing sunglasses at the same time. Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's Cyberpunk, so adding parkour to that would be the next logical thing. Would you not think so? I think so, it would be. So it should be something that probably should one day get into the game. And number 1 is a story that makes me want to question the fabric of society. At the end of it, I want to question things like, why are we here? Who are we? What are we even anymore in this world that we've created? Do we even have a reason to be here? Haven't we already developed the next step in evolution for the planet? Are we necessary? What does it even mean to be human anymore? How human am I now that I've grafted more metal to me than I can find on a battleship? Is a battleship more human than I am right now? Should we just blow up everything and start again fresh? And maybe next time take a path that will lead us to a brighter future, not a dark dystopian one, where corporations control everything, where politics exists only for its own self-interest, where humanity is frowned upon as a concept, where it becomes impossible to even talk to somebody new without first having to ensure the other person that you're not part of some political structure that's trying to recruit them or destroy them or use them for their own advantage. You're just trying to talk to somebody. And I think they can pull it off. So closes the top 7 what Cyberpunk 2077 needs to be great. I'd also like to give a special mention to it not being as super buggy as some of the previous games that CD Projekt has made. The Witcher 3 was kind of working okay, 2 had some issues, 1 had a lot of issues, but I hope it's going to be okay. I mean, they've already started optimizing it from the get-go, so it'll probably run okay. I just hope that there's no unexpected things. Now, if those things involve the car suddenly appearing on a rooftop, I'm okay with that. I want the car to be able to do stupid things, to have its own personality, just like Roach did. If you have your own suggestions, make sure to mention them in the comments. Goodbye.